Hello and good morning, folks. This is Wager Detective coming to you live from Tropicana, Atlantic City. And we're going to get into this cap between the Astros and Blue Jays, June 23rd, 2026. Before we get into that, be sure to follow Wager Detective on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Set alerts on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube. Never miss something that Wager Detective drops. As far as intel, the Wager Detective report up daily on YouTube. I appreciate all my fans out there, present and future ones. The momentum is growing. The report, what did we do yesterday? The report was 3-0 yesterday. So go check out those reports. Had the Tigers, called that one, cashed on that one. I'm trying to remember off the top what the other games were, but yeah, and I called the under in the Tigers game. So the Tigers and the under in that one report both hit. Guys, this is not stopping. This is going to be momentum. Think about Conor McGregor when he first started off and he broke through after 10 years or how many ever years it was before he finally got that call to the UFC. Wager Detective is on that way to getting it done, and consistency is going to pave the way through. Follow your passion and make sure you stay tuned into whatever makes you happy and drives you. Don't be like the rest. Be different. And let's get into this cap. All right, the Astros in this game are going to be plus 112. The Blue Jays coming back at minus 132. And as you see there, Peter Lambert versus Shane Bieber. The over-under on this game is 8.5. Slightly juiced to the over, minus 115, to the under at minus 105. And those odds are per FanDuel. So let's get into this cap. The Astros 6-4 in their last 10 games. They're 17-22 on the road this year, 8-4 in one-run games, and they're 7-6 against the American League East. In road day games this year, the Astros are 8-9. They're minus 8 run differential in that department. 7 over and 10 under in those games. They've scored 2 or less 8 times in those 17 road day games. Their opponents have scored 5+ 8 times. So, road day games, Astros this year 8-9, minus 8 run differential. In their last 9, the Astros are 5-4. In their last 9 games of this season, they're 5-4, minus 7 in the run differential department, 4 over, 5 under. They're scoring 3.66 runs per game to 4.44 for their opponent in their last 9 games. Their opponents have scored 4+ 5 times in their last 9 games, and the Astros have scored 3 or less 5 times. So, not really scoring that well in their last 9 compared to what they're scoring in their road day games this year. In that range of 3.5 to close to 4, but just under that 4-point mark, with their scoring between their road day and last 9 overall. Versus the American League East this year, they are 7-6. They're plus 4 run differential. They were swept by Boston, they swept Boston. In their 13 games versus the AL East this year, 9 over, 4 under. They're scoring 5.07 runs a game to 4.76. In their 13 games versus the American League East, they've scored 5+ 6 times. But their AL East counterparts have scored 5+ 5 times. So they're plus 4 versus the American League East, 7-6 in that split. Now, in the middle game of a road series, they are 6-5 this year, minus 6 run differential. 6 over, 5 under in those games. They're scoring 4.09 runs a game to 4.63 for their opponents. In the middle game of a road series this year, their opponents in those 11 games have scored 5+ 5 times. And in the middle game of a road series for the Astros, they've scored 2 or less 4 times in those 11 games and scored 5+ 4 times. So, not a mixed bag there so far, what we're looking at. Now, on the mound is going to be Peter Lambert, and the Astros are 4-1 in his last 5 starts. They're plus 15 in the run differential department there, 2 over and 3 unders in those games. The last 3 Lambert starts have gone under that 8.5. So Astros 4-1 when Lambert starts in his last 5. Last 5 starts for Lambert, he's got a 2.83 ERA, a 1.15 WHIP, and he's given up 1.26 home runs per 9. He has given up 4 home runs in his last 5 outings on 28 2/3 innings pitched. So, there's something to think about there. The home runs seem to be a problem, and he's given up 11 walks in his last 5 outings, but he's given up no walks in his last 2. So, kind of trends of the ebbs and flows. His last 5 starts, again, 2 over, 3 under. The last 3 have gone under. I'm looking kind of towards an over here. Zigging and zagging for what's going on. Again, they're scoring in 13 games versus the AL East. They're scoring 5 runs a game. And in Lambert's last 5 outings, they are plus 15 in the run differential department. Now on the year, the Astros are 6-5 when Lambert starts, minus 4 run differential in those games. They're scoring 3.64 runs a game to 4 runs per game for their opponent. In Lambert's 11 starts this year, he does have a 3.23 ERA, a 1.11 whip, and he's giving up less than a home run per 9 in 11 starts. But he has given up 4 home runs in his last 3 starts. So that's something to be concerned about, right? You've given up 4 home runs in your last 3 starts is pretty impressive. And even when they win this year, when Lambert's on the mound, even though they're 6-5 in the results, and when Lambert starts this year, they're still minus 4 in the run differential department. So, if we look at what he's done on the road this year, when he starts on the road, the Astros are 2-2. They lost against Baltimore and the Angels, and they beat the Cubs and the Guardians. So something to keep in mind there. In the 2-2 results, when Lambert starts on the road this year, they're minus 3 in the run differential department, scoring 3.75 runs a game to 4.5 for their opponents. And in his road starts this year, Lambert does have a 2.26 ERA, a 1.16 whip, and he's given up 0.83 home runs per 9. So, not bad. I mean, you look at that, you say they're not really playing. They're really not. There's no part of this cap where it says even a team that's 6 games under 500 in this spot where they're totally getting dominated or anything really stands out. But I do think the run differential, when you put it against what their record is, like the middle game of a road series, even though they're 6-5, they're minus 6 in the run differential. And if you look at their last 9, even though they're 5-4, they're still minus 7 run differential. And in road day games this year, they're 8-9 and minus 8 run differential. So something to keep in mind there as we get further into this cap. Now we look at the Blue Jays. They're 6-4 in their last 10. They're playing 500 baseball, 39-39, as you can see on the screen there. They're 6-4 in their last 10, 4-3 in extra inning games. They're 10-12 in one-run games. So something to keep in mind there. In home day games this year, they are 11-7, plus 12 run differential, 8 over, 10 under. They're scoring 4.44 runs per game, 3.77 for their opponents. They've scored 5+ 8 times in 18 home day games this year. So if you look at that, plus 12 in 18 home day games, and you look at the Astros, 8-9, minus 8 run differential in their road day games, the edge is there for the Blue Jays in that department. The Blue Jays in home day games this year, in their 18 home day games, their opponents have scored 5+ 5 times. So food for thought there. Now, if we look at their last 9, the Blue Jays are 6-3. But the run differential tells a different story. They're 6-3 in their last 9, but they're minus 5 run differential. They're scoring 4.33 runs a game to 4.88 for their opponents. In their last 9, the Blue Jays have scored 5+ only 3 times, and their opponents have scored 5+ 4 times. So that brings that cap back to more of a kind of a pick'em at this point, even though they are playing good in home day games. Now, versus the American League West, this is where they shine. They're 8-2. They swept the Athletics. In 10 games versus the American League West this year, they are plus 18 run differential, scoring 4.9 runs a game to 3.1 for their opponents. They've scored 5+ 4 times in 10 games versus the American League West, and their American League West counterparts have scored 2 or less 7 times. So that's a clear advantage for the Blue Jays in this spot. And then it gets even more advantageous in this next split. In the middle game of a home series this year, the Blue Jays are 9-4, plus 27 run differential. We said the middle game of a road series for the Astros are 6-5, minus 6. The Blue Jays in middle games of a home series this year, 9-4, plus 27 run differential, scoring 5.31 to 3.24 for their opponent. They've scored 5+ in their 13 middle games of a home series. They've scored 5+ 8 times out of those 13 games. A clear advantage, drawn back in those last 2 splits versus the West, 8-2, and in the middle game of a home series, 9-4, +27 and +18 respectively in those splits. And I think the big question mark here is going to be who's on the mound. We got Shane Bieber. Now, this guy's been more injured than not. Guy's just collecting a check, man. I mean, where's he been? The guy's only pitched 52 innings in the last 2 seasons. This is going to be his first start of the year. Now, if we look at what he's done over his last 2 years, there's not much to glean on him, right? It's just really hard to gauge, what he's doing here. I know against the Astros, he's pitched 4 times against the Astros, and the teams that he's pitched for, they're 2-2. All those games did go under. So the big question mark there is, how is he going to return? And, you look at the Astros lineup, they got the number 4 guy in batting average in baseball in Yordan Alvarez batting .323. But the Toronto comes back with a few guys as well. Clement, number 15 in baseball. He was going to be batting number 8. He's batting .293. You got Guerrero, number 31 in baseball, batting .283. He's batting 3rd today. And then you got Varsho, number 79 in baseball, batting number 5 today. If we look at home runs, Blue Jays got 1 guy, number 17 in baseball, Okamoto, with 17 home runs. But if you look at the power department for the Astros, Alvarez with 25, number 2 in baseball. You got Walker with 18 home runs, number 12 in baseball. And you got Paredes, number 77, with 10 home runs in baseball. So the 3 top guys are going to be what is going to have to be a major concern for Shane Bieber here. And, you look at the fact that Lambert has given up 4 home runs in his last 3 games pitching for the Astros. It makes you wonder, that 8.5, it's like, you don't know what you're going to get. The big question mark here is Shane Bieber. Now, if we look at RBIs, the Astros got a bunch of guys there. They got 3 guys in the top. You got Alvarez, number 5 in baseball, with 56 RBIs. Walker, number 12, with 52. And then you got Paredes at number 65 in baseball with 38. On the Blue Jay side, you got Okamoto in number 24 in baseball with 46, and then Jimenez with 33. And then neither team really great in stolen bases. Jimenez is the only one. He's got 10, I think, that's in the top 100 in baseball. So neither team really a stolen base team. But if you look at team batting average, the Toronto Blue Jays are actually better. They're batting .250. They're number 8 in baseball. Whereas even though with Alvarez and some of these other guys, they're number 17 in baseball in batting average. Now you look at home runs, that's where the Astros shine. They're number 5 in baseball, whereas the Blue Jays are number 23. And if we look at RBI, same thing. The Astros 11th in baseball, whereas the Blue Jays are 24th. And then stolen bases, both these teams in the latter half of the 20th in baseball. But Toronto has 8 more stolen bases on the year, with 34 to the Astros 26. And both teams in the top 10 as far as pitchers, as far as strikeouts. The Blue Jays coming in at 10th, the Astros coming in at 9th. But I think the X factor here is if it gets late and it gets to that point where we can get a save, you got the better reliever in Varland, who's number 7 in baseball with 16 saves. And the Astros come back with King, a gentleman named King. He's number 23 in baseball with 6 saves. So the edge goes to the Blue Jays there. I think in this cap right here, it's going to be, what Shane Bieber do we see? I think the concern for me is the fact that Lambert has given up 4 home runs in his last 3 outings, and he's only given up, I believe, 6 for the entire year. So when you start to see that, where there's smoke, there's fire. The problem is, it's not like Toronto is like this power hitting team, right? When is Guerrero going to wake up? Springer had a home run recently, but what's he doing? And Okamoto, who's your number 1 power guy, I like that he's batting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's batting 6th, and then you got Clement, who is, like we said in baseball, he is number 15 in batting average, batting 293. So I like when a manager does that, right? You throw guys in the back of that lineup that you get to the lineup, there is really no soft spot, you know? Whereas you look at Houston, they're isolated to their top 3 bats are 2, 3, and 4. And you get to the bottom of the lineup, you don't really have it there. Guys, if I'm going to go with this game, I know Bieber is a question mark, but his teams are 2-2 in his 4 starts versus Houston. And, you know, I don't think the book is making a mistake here, making Toronto minus 131. You know, it's going to be a matter of what you're going to get out of this. I do believe that this game could possibly go over the 8.5, and I'm going to call Toronto money line here. And I think if they do win, it could be trouble at some point in this game, especially if Alvarez or Paredes or Walker, who can hit home runs, launch one out with a guy on base from the bottom of the lineup, rolling over the lineup and rolling into that. But I think at the end of the day, I think my stronger play here is to take Toronto to win from all the metrics we looked at in the middle game of a series, how they play versus the American League West this year and how they're playing at home in home day games. That's going to be the call here. Wager Detective calling the Blue Jays minus 132. Let's go to FanDuel and see if that line is still the same. I'd be curious to see if there's money coming in on the Astros. Usually early money coming in is sharp, late money is square. So if I see a line movement going there early, most sharps are betting early. They're betting overnight lines. Am I going to even be able to get this right now? This is crazy. All right, we got Major League Baseball. Let's see if we can get a little bit of clarity here. This phone, man, I'll tell you. Don't guys, whatever you do not get Verizon. Please do not get Verizon. They are absolutely the worst. You can see on the screen recording there, I got 4 bars and I'm running into having problems with this. So we're going to ignore that for now. We're going to get back to this, and Wager Detectives calling the Toronto Blue Jays money line minus 132, and for an over under, I'm not really sure of, but if I was to take a chance there as a hedge to take in Toronto, I think if the Astros do win, it's going to have to be because the game goes over. So that's your hedge there of taking the Blue Jays bet. And but the Blue Jays the stronger play, and that's my call here. Wager Detective, June 23rd, 2026. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Set alerts on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube. And another Wager Detective report or 2 will be up before the games tonight. I got a couple other games that I'm sizing up. So this is Wager Detective. I love all my fans out there, present and future. I'll talk to you soon.